Looking at the MIXTRACK, a new controller from Numark, which is aimed at your entry-level DJ. Now, tractor DJs will be right at home here with a very familiar footprint, but Numark have also thrown in some very, very cool features to make this a great controller. Now, the MIXTRACK will be coming in to replace the Stealth and Omni controls also from Numark. The first thing you'll notice is the jog wheels on the MIXTRACK are much larger than previously on the Stealth and the Omni, and subsequently we get a much better response from the actual wheel itself. Now, we can jog with these new wheels in a couple of different ways. When the track is not playing, we can scroll through as if using a CDJ in vinyl mode. And when we engage the track, we get the jog wheel effect, or the pitch bend you'd also expect to see in the CDJ mode. We've also got the scratch button underneath the jog wheel to the bottom right, which allows us to actually engage scratching while the track is in motion. Now, up the top of the MIXTRACK we have the effects section. Now, the way this works is we have the master effect on and off button. We have the select, so we can actually choose which effect we'd like to use, and this just cycles through the effects on tractor. We also have control number 1, which controls the master wet and dry, and control number 2, which controls the individual parameters for each effect. And directly above the effects section we also have some kill switches and a brand new view button. The view button will allow you to blow up the screen so you can have a look at all your tracks much easier and browse through them and select what you're looking for with ease. Now, the kill switch is pretty straightforward. Basically what they'll do is knock out your bass, your mids or your treble, and you can do all three at once, which is a complete kill. We also have automatic and manual looping here, which will allow you to create your own loops manually, or you can hit that and create a half bar, 1 bar, or 2 bar loop. In the middle of the MIXTRACK we have a 3-band EQ. Now, as this is a controller, we have to run it in internal mode, so we're controlling the internal mixer, and we can go into our preferences and we can choose which EQ type we'd like to model our mixer off. So we have a few different ones there. We have the classic and a few other popular ones as well, like the zone mixers from Allen & Heath. To the right of that we have the large browse knob, which will basically allow you to scroll upwards and downwards through your track library, and when you've picked the track you like, to the left or right you have the load A and load B buttons, which will load your track. Also, we've got the back button, which sits directly below the browse knob. What this will allow you to do is browse through the entirety of your computer without ever having to use the mouse. So when I press the back button, I have two options, either file or folder. When I'm on folder, we can browse through all of our different folders on the computer. In the file, it'll jump across to the right. We can browse through that particular folder and select between the individual tracks. Other than that, the MIXTRACK's a pretty straightforward piece of equipment. We've got some new faders up the top for your pitch control, which are weighted, a really nice crossfader, 3 faders in the middle, denoting deck A, your master, and deck B. And keeping in the tradition of Numark's transport control, we have the sync button, cue, play or pause, and the stutter function. So that pretty much wraps up the Numark MIXTRACK. It's a really, really nice controller with some great new features like the larger jog wheels and weighted faders. But for those who want that really, really cheap way to get that great tactile response, this is the way to go. It takes the cake over the Numark Stealth control, so come down and check one out today.